So this is Azure Community Conference 2021. We have been doing this for 5-6 years, I guess. I think more than that. I joined it 5 years before, and we have been doing it for the past 6 years due to all the pandemics and all other problems. Still, we were able to continue. Thanks to Ilyas, Amal, and Go, and everybody for this huge effort they put across for getting this as successful as it is. Okay, let's start with this. So myself, I'm Karthikeyan. I am a cloud native architect and also a Microsoft MVP. I've been MVP for 4 years now. So that's the introduction about me. So I've done lots of applications where we can scale huge number of applications into a bigger scale. Meaning the smaller MVPs moving. My expertise is to moving a MVP to a extremely high scalable application. So that is my expertise. Yes, I've been doing this architecture for almost around 8 years, and I have a total experience of 16 years. Okay, these are our title sponsors. So let's start with the blockchain workshop. Okay, so this will be basically a 101 because the why I started looking at, what was the motivation for me to have this workshop is to tell people or get blockchain into a understandable format. Okay, when I wanted to implement blockchain into my projects, I start looking around blockchain, how to use blockchain into my application. There were lots of tutorials out there, but none of them actually told us what in a simple way how blockchain works or what it means. So there wasn't one single place where I can go and then say, you know what, this is simple, right? So if I take a SQL database, I know what is a table, what is a row, what is a transaction, how trigger works, how my store procedure works. Those are all easy for me. So it was actually easy for me to understand. But for blockchain, there is nothing because it is since it's a decentralized database, it is more distributed. So you have to know lots of distributed computing to understand all the jargon they talk about in the web, right? So I did study a couple of books on distributed computing to get understand the actual blockchain, the consensus algorithms and quorums and all other aspects to get to this level. But I still want to let people get that initial barrier of entry where understanding itself is completely not easy because if I start saying consensus algorithm, mechanism, quorum, it becomes all complicated. So I want to boil this down, drill this down into a very simple aspects and concepts where people can easily enter, and once they want to get expert at it, they have to go back to learn distributing computing and then understand all other concepts and then come back to and become an expert in the blockchain. And I'm also expecting any technology to evolve to such a way that even who are not very tech savvy should be able to use it, right? So that is the strength of technology. If you take Azure cloud, the cloud used to be infrastructure. Setting up a server used to be so tough, maybe 10-15 years before. Now it is a couple of clicks, you get a server, a couple of clicks, you get a Kubernetes even installed. So those are the technology things that comes up. So I'm expecting blockchain also to be like that. And somebody asked me the Azure offerings. Azure is offering an Azure workbench, and it's extremely amazing. They have simplified all the blockchain concepts into single web app. I will show you a demo if time permits, or if there is a way you can show you the demo. I can go to the document because that running that workbench is actually very costly. I have to see whether I can run it across before this, but I can show you a demo or the documents of how it is getting done. Okay, fine. So that's it. So that's the intro I want to give blockchain. Why I want to talk about this or have a workshop in blockchain. The one more motivation factor is I spoke about say Docker like 6-7 years back when it was very new, and we had a workshop and it was very successful. Those who have all attended workshop are all working in very good companies. I know each and every one now. They are still in contact with me. They understood Docker long time back, and when they got an opportunity to move to cloud native architecture and Kubernetes, they were able to pitch in because they attended that workshop. So hopefully I also make a difference here where people can attend this and do something, attend this and actually help people get their career into next level or learn new things and move on. Okay, so yeah, the recordings will be shared. Did you? Okay. Fine. So agenda is basically we'll talk about why blockchain, what is blockchain is Bitcoin, what is a Bitcoin and what is a blockchain, what is a block, and what is consensus algorithm, what is proof of work, what is Ethereum, what is smart contracts. We'll also talk about the truffle and Ganache. We'll also talk about Solidity, and we'll finally finish up with workshop, understanding all these concepts together. Okay. So why blockchain? So a blockchain is actually can be used in applications where the information is hard to change. Okay, so what say I have a SQL database, right? So in a SQL database, some developer can put an update and change the data, and nobody will know about it until they go and check the log and audit. But in case of blockchain, it is not possible. That's the first important thing of blockchain, where the integrity of data is very high. So that's the main concept. Where when you say if some guy takes you to the court and you say no, I did not do anything. If I have used blockchain or implemented blockchain in that part of the technology, you are more prone to get your uh, justice on the data. Meaning it will be on your favor because the data might not be screwed. I'm not saying it is not at all possible to screw those data. It is possible, but it's very tough to screw that. I mean, meaning update this data, what has been already happened. The same way, it also helps you in verifying and traceability of multiple steps transactions. It's easy to multiple steps because nothing is being overridden. Everything is formed as a chain. Every transaction is in a block and it will be linked through chain. We'll also look into that. It helps you to secure the transactions and speed up data transfer processing. And it is mostly used in voting. I mean, if you ask me of proper digital applications, it can be used in voting where, changing the votes should not be possible, something like a deeds. I think India is implementing those blockchain into registration, land registration, because it's actually a very good use case for land registration. Say I bought a land, I sold it to someone else, and someone else bought it, someone else other bought it. So there is a chain, right? And there each and every time anybody buys, it's a block, it's a transaction. So there is a chain to it. So that is why we say no that the Moola Patra or something, Moola Patra, where they have all the documents with respect to that land. That land might have been an acre, and they'll divide one by one ground, half a ground, quarter a ground, and then they still have that. Document. The same way, the main document will always be there. So so this is like the proper use case for your deeds. Okay. Okay. So next is blockchain can. This is for about this. So let's compare what is blockchain is Bitcoin. It is always a kind of confusing, right? It's what is blockchain, what Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin. So it's very simple. Okay, blockchain is a technology. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency which uses blockchain technology. Okay, nothing like that. So don't confuse yourself. And blockchain was proposed by David Chaum in 1982 about integrity with respect to integrity of data. And Bitcoin is basically proposed and popularized by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. That might be an alias name. There is right now people say that might be a fake name, or there's no one like Satoshi Nakamoto, or it's actually not a real name, where the real name of the person who created Bitcoin does not known as of now. Okay, and blockchain can be integrated into multiple areas, right? So So blockchain technology can be integrated into multiple areas, meaning can be used in multiple digital apps. They call it D apps. If you come across anywhere D apps, it's actually a digital application, nothing else. And then it can be used in deeds, it can be used in voting, it can be used in other proper other database, I mean government-based data where the data shouldn't be losing its integrity and it should lie there forever. But Bitcoin is only a decentralized digital currency. Okay, so that is the difference between these two. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to actually ask in between, talk in between. That's why we made this as a Teams meeting rather than a StreamYard or YouTube. That way people can join. I mean, ask us questions. Yeah. Okay. So just feel free to just talk. Unmute yourself and talk. Not at all a problem. If you can't unmute yourself, let us know. We'll unmute you. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we spoke about, right, what is blockchain and Bitcoin. That's all fine. So you have to know what is block, right? The blockchain's block. So blockchain blocks is nothing. Blocks holds batches of valid transaction, nothing else. Let's say I sell a property to someone else, that will be a block. The other guy sells a property to another, it is a block, right? And there is a link between two those blocks, so that when I want to trace back the same to the main document, I'll be able to trace back. I told you about the deeds examples, right? So even if there are 10 guys who sold it, you can trace back. You can think of something like an audit log, which you normally use. And in audit logs, it becomes a nightmare, right? You have to have a correlation ID. You have to figure out. And in case of blockchain, it is not the case. It is always that audit log is taken for granted, and each and every block includes a cryptographic hash of prior block in the transaction. Okay, linking those two. So linked blocks form a chain. So that is why it is called blockchain. The iterative process confirms integrity of the previous block. So since I have a link to the previous block, I can make sure that integrity is fine. Whatever has changed is known, and whatever is not changed, it is not. I mean, whatever is not changed, also we will know. So that way, you will exactly know what has changed, how it was before, how can I change it? Everything will be on that transaction. So what if, say, I have a transaction of selling my land for 10 lakhs, and then I sold it for 15 lakhs. So I can exactly know how much it was sold for 10 lakhs, and the next time I sold it for 15 lakhs. So nobody can actually screw it up saying that this is what is hype up the price or anything. Or if I can also check back to how much the main land was sold. Say I have taken a 1 crore land, and then I have divided it into multiple grounds. I can even check how much was the ground sold at any point of time. People cannot screw things up, or the main thing is the owner cannot be changed, right? So that's a major problem, right, with respect to in India. This all exists in paper. If somebody can override and then sell it, there is always a multiple registration on the same land. That cannot happen when the blockchain is implemented. And the first block, the main thing that happens, the first block, the first transaction is called a Genesis block. Okay. So as you said, it's basically the block is always digitally signed. You cannot see the data as it is. Only through your application you can see. I will show you that in Ganachi. I'll show you that example. Okay. So next thing you want to know is about consensus algorithm. I am not going to complicate things. So we saw about what the difference between blockchain and Bitcoin, right? Now also we saw block and the chain. What is block and chain? The block is just a transaction, and chain is the one that connects between two transactions. A digitally cryptographic hash value is the chain that connects two different blocks. Okay, so that is what we need to understand now. So next is the consensus algorithm. So consensus algorithm is a fault tolerance mechanism that is used in the computer and blockchain to achieve necessary agreement on single data value or single state of network among distributed process or multiple systems such as cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this is what consensus algorithm is. It's just consenting. You know what? I gave you this and you gave me back this, right? So that is the consensus. You get into some consensus, or you get into mutual agreement whether whatever we did or whatever transaction we did is correct. Why this consensus algorithm is happening is because in case of blockchain, the data is decentralized. Okay, each and every, so if I have a transaction, all the data will be in multiple places in everybody's computer, whoever is trying to mine. We'll get back to what mining and all. So when I say, you know what, I did this transaction, I have to get into consensus somebody else's computer. I have a main, say I did sell this land to someone else. Then that data will be copied to some other computer, right? That copying, this guy has to tell, okay, you know what, the copy is done and the data integrity is okay. So that consensus is called consensus. And to make sure that you come to agreement, common agreement, there are multiple algorithms available. Let's not get into that. It is just a way of saying we both agree with one certain thing. That's all. Okay. So next is the proof of work. Before going to proof of work, we have to learn a little bit about the mining. So mining is nothing but running your smart contracts in your computer, or trying to do a transaction. So that is basically the way. Okay, so what is happening is, so say, what if I do a and I sell something, right? So then the transaction should run in some computer. People can run those transactions, take those transactions and mine it, such that they will also get certain amount for that mining, meaning processing that transaction. Say 0.001, or they call it as gas for the transaction. Say for example, if you swipe a credit card, the bank takes some 2% from uh, the vendor, right? The actual vendor we bought the goods from. So that is the transaction means transaction charge taken by bank. But that right now, that is transaction charges distributed across anybody who wants to run the transaction in their system. Okay, so that is called mining. So proof of work is you have to show whether you have done the work, right? So you have done the work and you have done it first. Then only you will be given that money for that transaction, whatever mining you did. Okay, so that is a proof of work. So it's basically a process of competing against each other, and it is called as mining. And when there is a mining, somebody gets rewarded. Okay. So the famous application of proof of work is Bitcoin. So you understood, right? So anybody has questions on proof of work? Anybody? Is it okay? I mean, is it very fast, or is it going in proper flow?
It's going good, Karthik.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Thanks, Raj. Thanks, Raj. Okay, so next is the proof of stakes. The proof of stakes is that is coming next, where it is the proof of work is taking so much of compute power, almost like I think the number of mining that is done by blockchain computers is more than the power that is consumed by China in a year. So it is screwing up the old power grid. So they are coming up with something called proof of stakes, taking said that I have that transaction. That's it's a complete different technology. Maybe we can talk about it later. So just remember that proof of work is actually getting replaced by proof of stakes. Okay, you go and learn later. Okay, so proof of stake is nothing but I have done the work, I have done the compute. I mean, running that smart contract. Give me the money, and you have to make sure that you did it for. That is why you are getting rewarded. Okay, so multiple people will compete, but if you have done it first, then you will get rewarded. Okay. So next is the smart contract. So I was talking about smart contract, right? Smart contract is nothing but just think of it as like a store procedure in your database. That is the best way to think about it. Maybe it's not directly straightforward, right? But it's a okay analogy to think about it. It's what is smart store procedure does. It's not trigger, it's store procedure. You can run your some logic on your table, right? So that is what smart contracts are. So we'll always compare our SQL database and blockchain and let it understand, and don't take it for like exact layer. It's just for understanding. Which is blockchain is extremely complicated than you actually think, but still we'll just those examples whatever I have put across or I'm giving an analogy is actually valid also, right? Once you get used to the analogy and you have your initial barrier cut off, you will be able to understand far better, because you need to learn the distributed computing after you get your hands on after this workshop and get better and better. Hopefully I can bring that book. I don't know where the book is. Okay, I can also share the book which I helped me to read. 1 second, let me get the name of the book. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. Yeah, the book is called Designing Data Intensive Application. Show you that book. Okay, this is the book I was talking about. It has helped me a lot. It's a little bit costly on the terms, almost like 1,600. It's worth every page. Okay, so it will be around, I guess, some 600 pages, I guess, some close to that pages. But still is the best book I have read on distributed computing. It will not name it, it will not show you as a distributed computing, but they will start with the concepts. They'll talk about event-driven designs, and this is where I learned about consensus algorithms, quorums, and all the uh, details that needs for any database, thinking in terms of database. I want to get a little bit expert on thinking and designing database. So I chose this book, and it also helped me to understand blockchain far better than what I did. So yeah, let's share the screen again. It's a very nice book. If you're very interested, please do buy them. So you can see my screen, right? And then also my I did something. Okay, fine. So smart contract is nothing but a store procedure in a database. Okay. So it's basically a simply program stored on blockchain that runs when we determine preconditions are met. So you understood, right? So whereas the store procedure is stored in the database itself. Okay. And the only thing you need to know is SQL is a centralized application, sits on one server. Yeah, even if you take a backup or put it in multiple geographic locations, still it's actually a one system. But in case of blockchain, it's extremely decentralized, and it's pretty. That's the power of it. So one of them stores the data. You will have the proof of work somewhere else or proof of transaction somewhere else, and then until there is a consensus algorithm saying that whatever the smart contract has executed is right, everybody agrees. You cannot change the data in every place. So only once the consensus is done, it will be agreed across. So this is basically a automate the execution of agreement so that all participants can immediately see the certain of the outcome without any intermediary involvement or time loss. Okay. So yeah, they can also automate a workflow triggering the next actions when conditions are met. Meaning, say I have transferred a amount of $10,000, and the $10,000 interest is $50. Once I get $50, I need to pay the tax for say 10%. That trigger also can happen in blockchain. Yeah. So if you have known about escrow accounts, the blockchain will remove the concept of escrow accounts completely. Meaning, say, what if I do a transaction of say $1 billion, and I want to buy something? What people normally does is they will not trust the either party. So what if I pay the amount and that guy did not give the goods, or he gives the goods I did not pay? There is a problem, right? So that's what they do is they put the money in the escrow account. It's called maybe a very highly integrity team which actually holds your transaction, and they'll charge you for that, say 1% or 2% of that money from both of us. Say I put a $1 billion in that escrow account, and then escrow account will tell the other guy, say that, you know what, I got the money, you can deliver the product. Once the guy deliver the products, and then he says, I deliver the products, this guy says, okay, the product is delivered, then that 1 crore goes to the actual vendor who actually delivered the product. So this is an escrow account which is used in non-trusting transactions. That can be also removed because of the smart contract and blockchain. Okay. The next thing you need to know about Ethereum. So right now what we saw what is block, what is a chain. We used the ledger example or the selling lands example, and then we spoke about smart contract. When you use the ledger example, what it is it is actually selling the land. So when I want to sell the land, what I have to do, I have to make sure that there is only one guy it is not sold to someone else. And the guy who is telling is the owner. We have to confirm that, right? Only after those confirmation, the smart contract will execute and the owner will be changed to your name. So this way, there is no duplicate of registration. The problem with current registration is done in paper. I can do it within 2 or 3 days before the paper is updated to the actual platform. I can sell the land for 2 or 3 people, and then people can fight about the litigation they have, right? So that is not possible in a smart contract, because smart contract exists in the database itself. When you do a transaction, it will automatically happen, and there is a consensus algorithm to agree with people who are changing the data. We also spoke about mining. What is mining? Mining is running this smart contract in their system and getting small money for that transaction they ran. Okay, so basically a small money for the transaction they ran. Okay, so now we are moving to Ethereum. Ethereum is nothing but say decentralized open source blockchain with smart contracts functionality, nothing else. Okay, so it is second to Bitcoin. It's again, it's almost like a proper blockchain technology. The thing is, it is a they have used blockchain technology and built a platform called Ethereum. There are lots of live light and lots of the blockchain-based technology like this. Ethereum is one of them. It is very much second to Bitcoin and widely used across. And they called the Ethereum and ETH is the money they use, money they use for the transaction. Okay. So it is used to build application other than currency mining, which is the case for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is used only for currency mining. Ethereum is used to build all the DApps, meaning digital applications. As you said, they can also automate a workflow triggering next action. Okay. So let's see how smart contracts work. Okay. So we spoke about this for a long time about smart contracts, mining, blockchain, consensus algorithm, and all that, which is all good. 1 second. Okay, fine. So I think we spoke about this a little bit earlier itself. So smart contract is nothing but a if and when statement written into code on a blockchain. A network of computers executes action when predetermined conditions have been met. I told you, right? Okay, we are confirming that owner is only one owner and we are actually buying from that owner. And then if it is met, the owner is changed to your name. Okay, so this can be include releasing funds to appropriate parties, registering a vehicle, sending notification, or issuing a ticket. Anything can be done. So every application can be implemented in blockchain. You have to just think whether that much complexity is needed in application. That's all. Whether I can use a SQL. So basically what happened was we are using SQL, and then we are right now moving to NoSQL, and then there is one more NoSQL, which is a blockchain. So we have to think whether your transaction, your company or your business needs the blockchain. Okay, right. So the blockchain is then updated and transaction is completed. So the transaction cannot be changed, and only party who are being granted permission can see the results. Okay, we can still compare the ledger details. Only you and me can see the details. So it is basically a programmed by developer. And somebody asked for W3, right? It's basically decentralized. Ethereum gives you the W3 list. It's a list of JS tools that gives you the actual power online tools to simplify structuring smart contracts. There's yeah. So we have to check out Azure Blockchain Workbench. They have simplified it so much that it is actually pretty easy for us to implement a blockchain application into your system. All you need to do is to upload a JSON file which you have created in your local. Okay. But the setup for creating the blockchain workbench was a little bit not so easy when you do that. Even if the documentation is so good, it was actually taking me like a couple of days to get that workbench up and running. I'll show you the demo. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The next is the Truffle. Truffle is nothing but a development environment. Okay. So it gives you a EVM to run your blockchain applications. Nothing. That's it. It's a very popular tool. There are lots of popular tools available. In this workshop, we'll be using Truffle. And Ganachi is basically an emulator. The emulator we use for mobile, right? So there is a Android emulator, iOS emulator, or say, for example, storage emulators. So the same way, Ganachi is an emulator for running your Ethereum application. Okay, nothing else. So it's basically a distributed code application. It will give you a IP address, port number, and network ID, and you can start running it, and it will consume gases. It will show you the logs. It will show you the data on how it has been done. So those are the details you'll get. Okay. And Solidity is basically the programming language you use to write a blockchain code, and it is used for voting, crowdfunding, blind auctions, and multi-signature wallets. Okay, it's a statically typed supports inheritance, and it's pretty nice. It almost got its idea from Python, C++, and Java. So it is actually very nice. Once you know a little bit of C++, if you know this is a JavaScript, you'll almost feel like native language for you to understand and write. It supports inheritance, normal loops based on language. Okay. So yeah. So this is the logic behind all those blockchain and basics behind blockchain. If you have any questions or any doubts, please do ask me. We can move on to the workshop. And yeah, this is the URL. You can put that URL and then we can start. I've made sure that it's actually pretty simple. If you have any doubts, unmute yourself, share your screen. I'll be able to help you out. Okay, go. So any questions on the basics? Any other questions on basics? Can you guys hear me or I've been talking? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So, okay. So you have any questions, guys? Okay. So what I will do is, you can actually navigate this to URL and start getting used to the workshop. It's actually pretty simple. I'll show you the content also. I'll give you an example. So you'll be able to do the workshop. Feel free to ask me and stop me at any point where you don't understand. So it's a wiki page that I have done.
I think it says page not found. Can you check whether the URL is correct?
Yeah, I'm just checking. 1 second. Why is that page not found? So type the actual URL. I'll also change the bit.ly URL to. Okay, I've typed that into the window, chat window. You can check that. I think that works. We would have done changed something after. So anybody, so please, everybody access, can see the chat window, right? The chat window has the URL. Please do use them. The chat window has the URL. Please do use them. So yeah. So this is the first prerequisite. You need to install all those installation here. Okay. So once you are done with prerequisite, please let me know. I'll explain the other concepts. Because that's very important. Otherwise, workshop is very tough. You have to get this prerequisite done. So if you have any doubts on prerequisite, please do feel free to ping me so I can share. You can share your screen and we can see about it. I'll give you like 5 minutes or 10, 15 minutes to start getting going started. And please feel free. This is a closed community. There are only 15 members across. Now only 14 members are there, so there is nothing wrong in accepting, or if you don't know anything, please let us know. It's a place to learn, and it really doesn't matter somebody is uh, feel free shy. I mean, don't feel shy on asking questions. Nobody's going to judge you or anything. Okay, even if it's very small, very trivial questions, please do feel free to ask. It's better to ask here now and then rather ask somewhere else, because you are don't know anyone, so please do feel free to ask. So I use those URLs from the chat window I have pinged. So everybody using the URL, right? Now you can open the URL, right? Is anybody who cannot open the URL? Yes, Raj Kumar.
Yeah, that URL works.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi Karthik, one
Hi,
question.
yeah.
So the Node.js, you have mentioned the 14 version,
Yeah,
14.x
14
version.
on X. Yeah, above 14 on X.
But when I go to the
Yeah.
website,
Hmm.
it shows the 16.x version.
Okay, it should be fine. I think anything more than 14.x, maybe 16.x might be the not LTS version. Okay.
No,
One second,
shows.
Let me check.
Mhm.
Can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So probably, yeah, it is LTS. Huh? I mean, okay, you can use 16 also. It should be okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so how many of you have finished till say installing Truffle and Ganache? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so you're done with prerequisite? Perfect. Okay, super. So make sure that you click on that quick start Ethereum. Otherwise, it will show some problem in that. And then also, uh, make sure you click on start. And also the last step of installing your blockchain development kit for Ethereum in Visual Studio Code. Probably push this on top.
Yeah. So Ganesh is just a UI to visualize all these blocks, right?
Kind of, yes. So it's kind of an emulator for your Ethereum blockchain database.
Okay.
I'll show you a demo. It's very pretty interesting.
Okay. And Truffle is the one where actually we'll be programming the blockchain.
Yes.
Okay.
The development environment.
Okay.
there anyone who's still stuck up on Truffle or before that? Please let us know. We'll wait for 2 or 3 more minutes to start to the next exercise. The next exercise I will also do it with you. You can just first see how I do it, and then you can start using it. Because I've done this in my VM. Probably this also works in my laptop. I did create a VM for that and then let it run. So it is all clean and up and running. I'll try the here also. It should be okay. So yeah, we'll wait till 11:32 and then I'll just be back. Any questions, please do ask us in the chat window. I'll just be back. So do you guys have access to chat or? Okay, so have you guys done with prerequisite or do you need any help? Is everyone done with prerequisite? Can we move on to next stage? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, super Suraj. Good, thank you. So what I'll do is I'll just start sharing my screen and then we can just do it together or you can do it. So click on that create smart contract next to your on your right side, the pages. That's the third step. Okay, so if you can see click on that. I'll also start doing it from my end. So you'll be able to do it, see it. Actually, it's pretty easy one to do. So I'll go ahead and maybe create one folder. Just open the code. I'm just trying to. So Truffle Init. So Truffle Init will create you all the scaffolding code that is needed for your blockchain application. Okay. So that is the Truffle Init. I will ask you a couple of questions maybe. Yeah. So now it's done. So I need to create. So you will have 3 folders, which is contracts, migrations, and tests. Okay. So test is something you can run your deployments, something like a unit test you can run across with the Ethereum on. And Truffle config will have your blockchain's configuration. Okay, so it is everything is committed. What we'll do is we'll use the one which is in the sample. So this is the example of Truffle Init. Okay, so now I need to create a scaffold. You can actually copy this from here, right, and then copy it, paste it, and what is the name I have used? I'll go ahead and use the name. So this will create a SOL file for me. What I need to do is I'll go ahead and copy my source code here. I'll explain the source code to you. So what has been done, nothing fancy here. I've just made sure that the sample is extremely small, so you'll be able to understand the actual setup you have developed in environment and how to use it. Okay, so that's the main concept here. So basically, it has a send request and send response function, and whenever there is a function that comes in, it automatically saves the state into a response, and then whenever there is a data is being sorry, so when the data is being sent, just add an versioned keyword to that data that is being sent. So that is the thing. And then whenever there is a get message, I'll get request a message from the response message. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward code, nothing fancy here. Okay, so this is basically, don't get confused with the syntax and all other small things. So this memory is the message that will be saving the state. Okay, so we'll not be using any external database, but we'll still be using the Ganache and the actual emulator to save and use it. All right. Okay. So this is it, and then all I need to do is I have to deploy this to my Ganache, right, or the blockchain database, right? So this basically copying the stored procedure back to my database. So I'll have to create a new file, and probably I'll copy this from the so this is only deploying, this is just deploying the smart contract I created. So this is allow block.chain is in smart contract. Okay. So it does some, I just adding a one more message to the transaction that comes in. Any input I give, I just add something called version and then save them. We make sure that you change the truffle.config. Okay. So let's, before diving deep, I'll just show one more thing. You open the Ganache, which will be already be open, should have been open. This is an emulator. So click on Quick Ethereum. So yeah, so this is the number I need to put. Okay, so it's almost like the network ID and the RPC server. I need to copy this to this place. Okay, this development or advanced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the same from my file I already created. Just replace the file. I'll just explain it to you. So this is the Truffle config is very important for you to deploy and build and deploy the. So I have just this detail should be from Ganache. So this is the Ganache which runs on the RPC server. It says 75464 port. I'll change this to 7546. And then the network ID is 5777. Bye bye. Please close the door. So this will give you all the details. We'll just come back to this again. Okay. So this is saved, and this is creating a small smart contract application. Okay. Just go ahead and do it, and let me know if you have any doubts. Hope this is clear. Use this wiki page. Okay. So if anybody finding it difficult to run something or not getting this, please let me know. I'm able to copy the file.
Yeah, one doubt.
Yeah.
Truffle
me.
config, we have to delete everything, right?
Yeah, please do delete them. You can actually change it also, but it's to just remove the confusion. I'm just see there is something called development here, right? I can uncomment this. Better to delete everything and copy it. That way, there is no confusion.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Is anyone not able to get that copy files into it? I think probably anybody who cannot create, or not done the truffle create contract all of blockchain yet. Everybody would have done by now, right? Can we move on to the fourth, the build and deploy stage? Can we wait 3 more minutes? Okay, I'll wait 3 more minutes. We'll just do it by 11:46 probably. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the steps we need to do. You make sure that you have the Ganache. I mean, you have to see this screen. Okay. So let's go ahead and build this, build the scaffold. All you have to do is just right click on this and then just click on build contracts. Okay. And then go to output and then click on Azure blockchain to see the output. Okay. So it is actually compiling your, compiling using Truffle. Okay. So the deployment is done. So if you can see this JSON file here, you are almost done with the deployments. Okay. I'll explain to you how we can use this Truffle file, JSON file some point later. Okay, so once this is done, you need to deploy that to your Ganache. So it will ask you for the configurations. You can keep multiple configuration. It can have a say you can even have a something like a stage also. So you can have something like stage here, stage. You can put stage. You can even put production. So when I put deploy, it will ask for the configuration. You can choose whatever you want to choose. You can even do it through command line arguments also. Okay. Click on the development. I have just selected stage. Probably it will start. Yeah, it's starting. So this is the command. You can just put npx truffle migrate -- reset - network. It can be a development or stage or any other stage production. So you can put it even in the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so we have that CLI command line or command line. You can use it for anyone. If you use it for stage, you can use it for production based on the configuration or build you want to do. Hopefully, you can hear me. You can hear me, right? Rajkumar?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Okay. So it says some other problem. So you guys go ahead and do it. I'll also see why it is throwing an error. So continue with that. I'll do something with this. 5777546. Yeah, it is actually 7546. I need to now deploy this to 75. I took the number from here. Deploy. Yeah, it is deploying right now. Okay, it's done. My deployment is done. I need to check whether we allow blockchain. Yeah. Okay. So probably, yeah, I deployed allow blockchain. And this is the gas that is taken for deploying the blockchain into deploying my smart contract as a blockchain. So you have to pay this amount of Ethereum to the actual blockchain environment. Okay, so until you have to buy certain amount of Ethereum from someone else, and then when you want to build deploy a smart contract, you have to sell your Ethereum, and somebody will mine, and then they'll give you the you have to pay for that. Okay. Okay. So Vicky, you join now. I'll probably have pinged the workshop details. You can start from there. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty easy one. So this is the one. So okay, do that and let me know. You can see all those details. You just do it on your own. So we have created a solve file. We have built the solve file and we also deployed that file. So we have actually created a smart contract, which I was speaking about. So the smart contract has the details about the transaction that needs to be done on that purpose, right? Yeah.
Karthik, I tried to deploy and getting some error.
Okay, what is the error? Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'll share. Can you see, Karthik?
Hopefully, no. Yes, yeah. So it says could not find. Okay. Open your build folder. Okay, so if you have not created the allow blockchain, it is not there. That SOL file. Where did it go? Did you delete them? Oh, you are copied into migration.sol. No, no. You have to create a name called allow blockchain.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
think
had some delay. I had some delay, and I followed
Yeah,
that
yeah.
URL here. So
Okay, okay.
what I have to do?
Okay. So what you have to do is let's go ahead and 1 second. So copy this.
You can try undoing that paste in migration.sol.
Yeah, that we can do also. Or copy this from the chat window. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
worked,
that's a good one. Yes, that worked. Now you go ahead and create the truffle. 1 second, let me check the comment. Okay. So just now create a file called allowblockchain.sol in the contracts folder. I mean, go to the document. I think now it's better. Copy the name from there. I mean, the wiki page.
Yeah, I'm going.
Number 3.
So where in the wiki page it is? Prerequisite setup?
Yeah, 3 dot smart
Create smart contract,
yeah,
right?
create smart contract, yes.
And what is the file that I need to create?
Yeah, so if you check there is something called create new file called allowchain.sol, right? Allowblockchain.sol, 4th step. Have you shared? I have shared your screen, right? I can't see that browser in your window.
Yeah, this is what I see.
Yeah, copy this. There is 4th point, right? Create a new file called blockchain.sol in the contracts folder. Do that step.
Yeah.
Without the quotes. In the contracts folder. Yeah. And then copy the content from the gist file. Now go to the wiki again.
This one, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, done.
Okay, now go to that do underscore deployment dot contract.js. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, just now try building it. Build and then deploy. Go to allowblockchain.sol. Yeah, right click. No, no, not JSON. Sol, SOL file. Yeah. You click it on. Okay, delete that hello blockchain.json.
You also have to save that migrations.sol.
Sorry, delete this, right?
Yeah, delete this and then maybe save that migration.sol if your autosave is not enabled. Migration.sol. Save them. Probability saved. No. Save one. Yeah.
There's no save all. Yeah, fine.
You now saved it. Yeah.
Okay. No, no, not that. Hello blockchain.sol. Hello blockchain.sol. Build, not deploy. Yeah, build.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
done.
Now we can deploy. Yeah, now we can deploy. Anyone else? Any trouble on this same? Please let me know. Select the development. Okay. Now we are good.
Yeah, succeeded. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, Karthik.
No problem. No problem.
I'll stop sharing now. Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else has the same problem or build and deploy? Is everybody done with build and deploy? Can we move on to the next? Anyone finding it difficult? Okay. So next is executing the truffle file. Okay. So what I have done is the truffle. I'm using the truffle. Basically, truffle is a JavaScript all combined one to access the blockchain. So I'm going to execute a JavaScript file. Okay, and then try to send some command through my JavaScript file, and that JavaScript file will actually and also call this use the same truffle to get the message from the database which I have already saved. So if you check out the truffle, okay, I'm not sharing my screen. One second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the third step. So I'll be sending the using the Java truffle to send and receive data. I mean, send data and then receive the data from the database. So that is what I'm going to do. So if you check your Ganache, there will be there is a Ethereum is being used, right? Can you see here? So this is called the gas. The 0.02 amount of Ethereum is being used for deploying my smart contract. Same way, you have to buy some amount of Ethereum before using your blockchain. And then every transaction you do, somebody mines your transaction or you mine your transaction, you get amount. If somebody mines your transaction, you have to pay them the amount. So in gases, okay. So if you see here, so there was a contract creation, there was a contract call, and the blocks are all available. So these are it's all mined on these details. So you can see all those details. Somebody mined. It's basically emulator, right? So somebody mined it for you, and the gas used is this. Okay. So this is the contract we have. This is the transaction we have. This contract creation. So this is the text data which is in an encrypted format. Okay. Is that clear? Let's go ahead and execute this smart contract. Just follow the steps. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, so you guys have any doubt? Can we move on to the next one? Hopefully everybody was able to test it, right? So you sent a message and you got the message back. And anybody still struggling with that? We'll wait for 2 more minutes. So what all you saw is actually you understood the basics of the blockchain, what is block and what is a chain. You also understood smart contracts. And you also understood proof of work. You also understood mining. You also understood Ganache. You also understood what is truffle. So you also set up your own system for creating blockchain applications. And also you have understood how to look at the gas that is being spent and what is the gas concept, what is Ethereum. So these are the concepts you understood. You might have not completely understood everything, but you still have a basic of idea of how everything sits together. That is more important because it took me a while to see everything stitched together. That took me like maybe a month or so that's why I just confined this to a 2-hour session and kept it very simple. I don't want to create some React.js application and then do it. So the truffle uses the JavaScript itself to call the function, and which you can use it in your JavaScript application itself. So I don't want to complicate anything. That's why that JavaScript is put there. Yeah. So I think we come to the last one, which is checking the Ethereum in Galanch, right? So how do you check that what all you have done? The best way is to actually, I'll share my screen. 1 second.
Yeah, Karthik,
Yeah,
1 second.
Yeah, sure.
I need one more help. I'm getting an error.
Please share your
It's,
screen.
yeah. It's saying sender doesn't have enough funds to send transaction.
Okay, so this is, you open your Ganach. Okay, you should be able to do it. Okay, what you will do is, okay, second. Can we try? Okay, go to your truffle.config. No, truffle last. 7545. Okay. Click on that. Go to Ganach. Config, perfect. Click on switch. No, in the Ganach itself.
Switch, right.
Yeah, click again, quick start. Okay, now this is all new. 7545. Can you again try deploying and yeah.
Should I build or deploy
build
again?
yeah, just deploy it. Go to output window.
Nothing happened.
No, you need to select blockchain in that.
In the tasks and the drop down, select blockchain.
This one, right?
Yeah, no, on the right hand side, there is something called tasks, right? On the output window itself. Yeah, click on blockchain. You have not, okay. So go ahead and install that extension. Click on the extension.
Yeah, I actually installed that extension.
But then it should be here. Can you try whether that's being installed? Can we check?
Says it's installed, right?
Okay, it's installed. Perfect. Okay, then now go back to the file. Go back to the output folder. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't. Click on that output terminal.
Yeah, now it's.
Yeah, it's asking for development. It's a little bit slow. You select that development. Deploy it.
Yeah, it's slow. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Should be able to see it's actually pretty slow. That's all. Okay, so anyone else has this problem when we wait for Biju to build? It's a little bit slow, it will build. The system seems to be occupying a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so fine. Anyone else? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I will share my content. Okay, so if you open the Ganache, right, so you should be able to see the transactions here. So the transaction is done as 2 transactions, and there is a transaction of all the amount of gas that has been spent on contract, calling the contract, and while creating the contract. So you go ahead and play around those accounts, blocks, transactions, events, and logs. So you should be able to see those details in your system. Okay. So if you see that there is a log there, and if you click on events, you can see all. I don't think so. Events is not there. I don't know why. Okay. So click on transaction. You can see all the transactions in Ganache. Click on blocks. You can see all the minings that happened. Somebody has mined it for you. I mean, it's basically a simulator, right? Somebody's mined it for you. It's basically a mining status is auto mining, right? So that is what it is. So this is the major thing. So what all you saw in this system is in this. Yeah. So what so in this system is the Ganache. You understood about smart contracts. You understood about block and chain and blockchain with using the ledger example, and you understood about creating smart contracts, how to create smart contracts, what is smart contract with example of ledger, with example of deeds or the selling a land, right? So you understood that. Now you created a smart contract. You call the smart contract with a JavaScript file. Uh, so you call this smart contract with JavaScript file. I'll show you the JavaScript file. Yeah. So you call it with getMessage.js. It's basically a complete JavaScript file, right? So you call that using JavaScript, and then you got the response also. So it's basically this is the overall how the blockchain works. Like I want to keep it extremely simple so that I don't want to complicate anything, putting React.js, AngularJS, or anything other than that. You can also implement working on getting the data saved to a SQL and then all that we can do, but I don't want to complicate things. So Ganache is something in emulator which will save your data and also to does an auto mining for you. And yeah, that's it. So let me check one more thing if it's working right now. Blockchain workbench. So this is a blockchain workbench I have created for you. Probably it will work, or we'll just finish it as it is. Okay. So you saw, right? So you saw the JSON file that came with this files, correct? So this is allowed block.json, migrate on JSON. So I can go ahead and deploy this open file. Yeah. I can go ahead and upload this to my blockchain. Okay. Click on new, say browse, and then so Azure gives this flexibility of creating your own application. Okay, for some reason it's actually throwing some error. Oh, okay. Second. .js. I don't know. First of all, I'm gonna upload again. Application name required. So it's going to take some while. What I will do is I'll show you the example which is there in the Azure Docker. Probably it was- to create this from the top. Uh-oh. Let me copy it. This works to accept. For some reason, it's from here. Yeah. Click on deploy. The Druffle INT should have actually created that. So now it is all fine. So this is adding member or not. It will take lots of time to do all that. So let's not get into that. So this is how you create your development environment Truffle file and then upload it to your application. Once that is done, you can add users to it and then start using them. So these are the customized table. You can add IDs to it. Okay. So once you start, you can hit those URLs through this. I'll show you that also. 1 second. So the API will be available for you. Yeah, it has a Swagger file. Yeah. So you can list all these availabilities and its capabilities. All that you can see, all the contracts you can call by sending the application ID. Okay, so this is what you can use. Maybe if you have a proper Azure account, you can do them. So as of now, that is the end of our workshop session. I doesn't want to complicate this with all this thing and then make it complicated, because it will take another 1 more hour to get those things up and running. I just want to give you a brief overview of how you can use the workbench in your Truffle. So you created the solve file and everything in your local environment, and you can upload this to the Azure Workbench itself, so it can be called as an application, and the API can still exist, and you can call the backend as it is. So since Azure has done everything for you, and it's very in preview stage, it is not completely, it's in very good shape. I find it very difficult to even create creating this account itself. It took me like a day or two to get this up and running. Yeah. So these are all the what is that, VMs and backend and the database. Everything will be created for you when you create a workbench here. But it's not. It's still in preview. It has many problems associated with it. Workbench. So you can create it by So this is the workbench you need to create. Okay, so you have to create first proof of Ethereum and then come and create it here. It is not something straightforward. It took me some time to figure it out. Maybe they make the document better. Okay, fine. That's okay. Thanks, Ketul.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please let us know. Okay,
So
then.
tell us about your book a little bit.
Okay.
Like, is it based on going for the stream of being an solution architect or software architect?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it takes both the solution architect and software architect together. The chapter is divided into 3 things. First, you have to change the mindset, right? So until there is change in mindset, you cannot take the architect path. You have to think a lot. You have to change your way you learn also. So, and you also change to understand the basics better. So I have just divided that book into 3. So how do you change your mindset? So when you see certain people, right? So as you say, the architect are aspiring, they would have had a very, very cool head, right? So whenever you go and talk to them about a problem, they always have a solution. It is not, they also have the 24 hours per day, and they also have the same resources we have. How do they do it? It's basically the mindset change. The mindset change is how to change your mindset on thinking perspective, how to get your all your insecurities inside and then start learning. I also put across how to understand certain concepts faster, meaning let's take blockchains. If you have seen this workshop itself, right, it's a huge concept, but I have broken down into small, and I have made sure that it's communicated properly. So how to get that into the mindset of thinking that principles, so there you can learn lots and lots of techniques, but there are principles that involved. If you know that principle, you can apply it for any techniques. So the crux is to first learn some techniques and then make sure that you figure out what is the principle behind it. Once you understand the principle, everything will fall in place. So how to do all that? So there were questions about people talking about there are lots of politics. I cannot communicate to my stakeholders. How do I communicate? I don't want to do politics. I have answered that in the book. How to do that? How to communicate properly? How to make sure that you build up small technical documents, or how can you present your ideas to your any stakeholders to make sure that they approve it, and then you can move forward with your projects. And what is the basics you need to understand? There is one chapter completely built for all the basics you should know, and I put it in a very point by point manner, not in just like paragraph way, but everything becomes a cloudy techniques. So these are small things I put across. It will give you a complete step-by-step process. Thanks, Anurag. Thanks for your feedback.